Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video reacting to Chelsea's Champions League group stage draw. It's been confirmed, finally the draw coming to a conclusion. It didn't feel like it would ever come to that because it takes so long for some reason for UEFA to get this draw done. It's so dragged out, so tedious to watch, but finally we did get confirmation. I think the biggest takeaway is, and mostly thanks to two Chelsea greats in Didier Drogba and Florent Malouda helping Chelsea out here for a very favourable draw. I mean, in comparison to what we could have been drawn up against, the likes of Bayern Munich, the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of PSG. I mean, look at what Man United got this year. That is a tough draw. PSG and RB Leipzig in the same group. So I think it is favourable. You still have to go into these things with caution, as was proven last year for Chelsea. Even though there was no major sort of heavyweights at the time in that group, it still proved to be a tricky one for Chelsea. And in a very congested season with a lot of games to contend with the Premier League as well, the intensity, of course, you know, this isn't a game in isolation. This isn't a competition and group in isolation. It will be mixed in with Premier League games as well. And it's about rotation, about squad management, Chelsea being at their best to top this group. Because I think that should be the aim this year. Chelsea should be looking to top this group, absolutely. The interesting thing as well, historically with this group, Chelsea have not faced any of the teams in this group before in European competition in our history. Sevilla, Krasnodar and Rennes never faced them before. So new territory for Chelsea. The only unfortunate thing is for supporters, as been pointed out, no fans in the grounds for any of these games, most likely. Maybe some home fans, but definitely no away fans this year, which is a shame because I know some fans would love to go to these games, some decent European away trips for the first time in the club's history. But, you know, you look at, as I said, Man United before and avoiding Bayern, Real, PSG. I know some people, because of the glamour of the Champions League, getting those big European nights, but as was proven last year, I think Chelsea really need to look to progress in this competition this year, getting first place and potentially getting a decent draw in the round of 16. Of course, they need to get through the group initially, but that should be the aim. Improvement on last year, because we had some decent nights in the Champions League. Of course, the Ajax away win was one of the best nights of 1920, and let's hope Chelsea can replicate some of that. I think, you know, obviously you'd expect Sevilla to be the toughest opponent in this group for Chelsea. They are Europa League winners, and of course they aren't Bayern Munich, but still a very experienced and very intelligent European side. I mean, I sort of put them in the same category, of course a bit better than that of Valencia last year. Very experienced side. Of course, they're most dangerous in the Europa League, and if they do drop out of this group once again, they'll be favourites to retain their title in 2021. So look out for that. Maybe they're going to bin the group once again because they love winning the Europa League, but they're still going to be a tough task for Chelsea, absolutely. Krasnodar, the thing with Krasnodar is, of course, never played them before, don't know much about them, but it's just in terms of that travel for the away game. I mean, what you really hope for Chelsea, and I know the fixtures will be confirmed tomorrow evening apparently, so we'll be able to see that in comparison to then the Premier League games preceding and following those games. You're hoping that it isn't a situation where we're going to Krasnodar away, and I think at the end of October, at the end of this month now, of course the month's going so quickly at the moment, but I believe on Halloween weekend we go away to Burnley. Of course, if that's the case, Chelsea have to contend with that. We're a big squad, we're a big club, you have to deal with that, but just in terms of actual travel and how it could impact the squad in terms of game to game, you're hoping that will be a kind of sort of draw in terms of Krasnodar maybe being midweek after a home game and maybe not the worst away trip in the Premier League. Of course, Rennes, Edouard Mendy reunion, of course, that's one of the biggest headlines from this draw, I'm sure. Mendy, of course, coming up against his club after leaving only a few months earlier. That's just natural football, and I would be stunned if it's the opening game of the Champions League. We're facing them on the first night away from home or at home at the Bridge. But yeah, I did say for my season predictions that I want to see Chelsea progress a lot more than last season. I think quarterfinals is a realistic ambition for Chelsea. I think it all depends on this group. I think if Chelsea can top this group, there's a more than likely chance you get a decent draw in the round of 16. Unless, you know, in one of those group of deaths, for instance, you get a really good team finishing second. That can happen with the quality of the Champions League. But more than likely, Chelsea being away from home in the first leg. And I'm really looking forward here. But that should be the aim from Chelsea. And I think, you know, with Lampard having the experience of the Champions League, especially the group stage, and then the thumping from Bayern Munich, you know, avoiding them this season, hopefully there'll be experience and the quality of players we have. And you know, looking at the distraction from the Premier League and thinking about Chelsea getting back in form in the Premier League, hopefully by the time we kick off the Champions League following that international break, Chelsea will have a bit more confidence under their belts if we're going to have a strong showing in the Champions League this year. But let me know your opinions on the draw. How far do you think Chelsea can go in the Champions League this season? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter @SonofChelsea. and I'll see you again.